All right. Thank you guys for attending. Those of us that are online, thank you guys again. Welcome to the Native American Indian Heritage Month program. Woo! Thank you. So I am honored to be here today. I'm honored to have several special guests. Just an FYI, I do have three remaining guests that are en route, but for right now, the show must go on. So I am going to now introduce Mr. Joey Pierce. He is one of our dancers, and he is going to come up and speak and introduce Miss Angela Sanford, who will do a blessing for us. Again, thank you guys and welcome, and I appreciate everyone in your attendance. You can come right there.
Oseo Aganali. Anybody know what I just said? I said, hello, friends. That's in Cherokee, the Salagi language. We're honored to be here part of this Native American Heritage Program. What we're going to do is start this off with a prayer. We always start our events off with a prayer. And we're going to have, our matriarchal society, all 5 civilized tribes here in the Southeast, which are the Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole. Matriarchal means that the women basically have control, like they do today. And it's one of those situations where if there was a conflict, the women make the decisions for everything that goes on. But I'm honored to introduce Miss Angela Sanford, a former employee here at the VA for 36 and a half years. She's going to give us our opening prayer, and after that, we will progress into some of our program. Wado, ski.
Wado, everyone. Hello, good morning. As Joey said, I'm Angela Sanford. I worked here for 36 and a half years in physical therapy, rehab medicine, and I also worked in nursing service for a couple of years. I worked here when that blue building was the only building we had on this campus, so a lot was crammed in that blue building.
Okay.
I'm also the former Native American Program Manager and Minority Veterans Program Coordinator. I was the first one that they had here at this particular location. So it's an honor and a privilege to come back and share our community with this community. Oh, gracious Creator, we come to you to say, Pilomiya, thank you, Lord, for the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for letting us get up this morning to be in our right minds, to be able to see, to hear, to move all our limbs. Lord, we thank you for the people that are surrounding us, and may they bring good, positive energy to us. Creator, we ask that you bless the people who are here today and the people who are going to speak on the panel today. Creator, we ask that you touch the program coordinator and help her with her program as she proceeds into the new year. These things we ask in your holy name. Amen. Aho. One more thing. I'd like to sing a song for you.
Yes, please.
Just briefly. Pilomiya means thank you. Wake up, all you people. Today's the day we all should say, Pilomiya, 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 Pilomiya. Pilomia. Thank you. Wado.
Thank you. Belomia. Belomia. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Miss Sanford. I am going to read like a little excerpt. We did have a introduction for Miss Angela Sanford and her 30 plus years of working here. If Mr. Joey Pierce would like to stand up and give us a small introduction of, your history, and it's okay. And I will also speak about Mr. Joseph Jordan, and after that, I'll ask them to just take a seat at the panel, whomever would plan to visit. Thank you.
Or she said, my name's Joey Pierce. I'm half-blood Cherokee, Eastern Band. I'm a descendant of Pathkiller, who was one of the last formal chiefs of the Cherokee Nation before the Trail of Tears. My great-grandparents, grandparents were full-blood, my mom. And I born in Eastern Tennessee. I'm a veteran, Vietnam veteran. Been here I've been coming over here 30-something years now, or almost 30 years, I should say. And yeah, I'm thankful for the VA. We do programs for colleges, schools, universities. When I started doing this early on, maybe 25 years ago, the only people that recognized Native Heritage Month was the VA hospitals and military bases. So I've gone all over the Southeast doing programs for most of the active military bases, over the past years. And, like I said, I've been out of the service 53 years, almost 75. So I'm appreciative to a Creator to leave me here and be part of this and watch over me every day. Wado, ski.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Mr. Joseph Jordan to stand, and I'll give a short little blurb, and if he wants to say anything, he can, to keep it a couple minutes. But he is a member of the Snipe clan of the Meherrin Nation. He's also a Marine Corps veteran, infantry with 2 tours.
Chwent. Neru skinhead Gyathi Joseph Jordan di Seseki da Wista wis E Gawachaga Disney Unkwahongwe. My name is Joseph Jordan. I come from the Snipe clan of the Meherrin Nation. We're a small tribe located in northeastern North Carolina, right below Suffolk, Virginia. So if you've ever been stationed at Suffolk, Virginia, if you go about an hour south, way out in the country, there's a small tribe. We're probably one of the smallest, if not the smallest Iroquois tribe located in North Carolina. I did 2 tours in the Marine Corps. I did 4 years in infantry, served in 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines, Kilo Company, did Westpac, was a main staging point for East Timor, the invasion to support that, the humanitarian relief. And I also went back, did 2 tours at Parris Island. I went there for boot camp, went back, trained recruits on the rifle range there for 4 years before being discharged because of injuries and all. I'm a traditionalist, I'm a sun dancer, I'm a pipe carrier, I run ceremonies, I attend ceremonies. I'm a part of Confusky Ceremonial Grounds. It's a creek ceremonial grounds down in the Panhandle of Florida. So I'm very involved in the Native community. At this time, we're starting a new Native organization here in Atlanta called Metro Atlanta Native American Organization, to where we're going to push education, cultural stuff, singing, dancing, craft work, community, and hopefully be able to get an Indian Center here in Atlanta, hopefully in the next few years, where other people who are Native descent don't feel like they're homeless, where they have a place to come. So I would like to sing one song real fast, because this is the veterans and all. This is the VA. We're all veterans. And this is a veteran song specifically for veterans. So. Yo hey hey yo 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 hey yo hey yo hey yo hey hey yo 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 hey yo hey yo hey yo hey hey ya we ya hey hey ya ya hey ya hey yo hey yo hey ya hey yo hey yo hey hey ya hey ya hey hey ya ya hey ya hey ya hey no.
Thank you. If you could take your seat on the panel. Yes, please. Mr. Pierce, if you would like as well,
While he's getting ready, I just want to tell you a little something about me. My ancestry is Cherokee. I've always known what my ancestry was. I consider myself a vessel. I I like to teach people about Black Indians because Black Indians do exist, and I consider myself an indigenous aborigine. In my journey on the Red Path, I've encountered a lot of different people, and Joey was my conduit to what I do now because he introduced me to Levi Walker, who was Chief Nakahoma, who passed away a few days ago. And he was my first guest speaker here. I've done a couple of powwows. I do powwows that are close to home. I'm a traditional Southern cloth dancer and a buckskin dancer. I've gone to different schools, a couple of military bases that are close by to talk about the Native American culture. I am a firekeeper, meaning that I burn the grandfathers, which are the rocks that we get ready for sweat lodge ceremonies. I'm also the person that sits in the west of the sweat lodge and pour herbs over the grandfathers and sing songs and pray. I love what I do. I don't do as much as I used to, but I love what I do. I love to teach. I dance basically at Stone Mountain Park every year, and Stone Mountain Park's powwow takes place every year at the same time in November, the very first Saturday and Sunday in November for the general public. A lot of people doesn't know that exists, so I'm letting you all know in case you're interested in coming next year. I also do the Canton Powwow, which is the Mother's Day weekend, the Native American powwow that takes place down at Indian Springs State Park, and hopefully I'll get to the one at Little Five Points next year, and the one that it'll be the third year at East Point coming up. So we do have some powwows that are taking place locally now, and we would like to invite you all to come out and join us. With that being said, I think I'll take my seat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that history. Thank you, Ms. Angela. So this part of the lecture, and I think I said earlier before, I do have 3 more people that will be coming, 2 are veterans as well. But in the interim, while Mr. Joey is here, I'm going to allow him to take about 5 or 10 minutes to, discuss history. And if you guys have any questions to ask, definitely please feel free. Go ahead and take it, Joey.
All right, we talk culture. I guess that's how I say it. We talk culture. Talking culture, it's history. It's the past. Mic check. I'll hold it up here like that. They said this is like old DJ time. All right, and we got the camera going and all that. So let's talk history. We talk about culture in the future. We talk about culture in the past. Within our culture and our society, we call it the 7 generations, or thinking about our future, thinking about our kids. Everybody knows over 400 years, 500 years, some say 300 years, we've been colonized here as Native Americans. And within that colonization period, we're still native. We are of many colors, shades, and sizes. We come light skinned, we come dark skinned. Some people look full blooded, and people call them Mexican. Well, a Mexican is an Indian too. They have native blood, and they've been colonized just as well by the Spaniards. So we're all indigenous people to this country. We're here in Georgia, going into history of Georgia, say there was 2 main tribes here in Georgia. They were more than that, but there were 2 main tribes. Reason why I said that there's 2 main tribes is because historically, everybody hears about 2 tribes. They hear about Cherokees and Creeks. Well, the Creek wasn't a tribe. The Creek was of many different tribes. The Cherokees weren't originally Cherokee. They actually had a name that sounded more Iroquois, but I can't pronounce it. It's like Koni. It has an Iroquois sound. They originally come from the middle part of Virginia, and they migrated down and they pushed on the tribes that were here prior to them. And them tribes being here prior to them were Siouan tribes or Muskogee tribes. So this is going to go into flip it a little bit. We had 2 main tribes, but then actually prior to that, you had 3 tribes. You had Catawba that were here located in Georgia. Lithonia. Sister lives over around Lithonia. They had a village in Lithonia. They had a village in Winder in Barrow County and all. And they were pressed down by the Cherokees. The Cherokees came down, and within that, what's said is the Cherokees settled in the lower towns up in Oconee County, South Carolina, and that was their first real push into the Creek nations or Muskogee nations. And that's what kind of formed what became what's known today as a Cherokee. But Cherokee isn't a Cherokee word. Cherokee is a Creek word or a Choctaw word. Then the other one, they say Salagi, that they use today as their actual language word, isn't either, because that's another word. That, like I said, one comes from the Creek, one comes from the Choctaw. The principal way was the Aniawea, meaning principal people, but before it was even Aniawea, it was the other word that I said, K-A-N-I, whatever, how you say it. Just like my tribe, I'm a Meherrin, but Meherrin ain't our real name. Our real name is Gawachaga, or people of the water. We were known as Akawachaga. Same word, just a little difference within the linguist, but it's the same word. So when the Cherokees come down, they pushed on them Catawbas, them Siouan tribes. And the Siouan tribes were pretty much, they weren't as big in the Georgia area, so they were absorbed by the other larger tribe that they were friends with, being the Muskogee tribes. Within the Muskogee tribes, you had many different tribes. Many different tribes. You had Yuchi, you had Kialegi, the Kawitas, different tribes, Tugabachi, Tallapooza. When you go through Georgia, you hear the name of the villages or the tribes, or what they call in the Creek Nation tribal towns. And all the same towns and the same names you hear over here in Georgia or Alabama, you'll hear over in Oklahoma. We have a town over there in Walton County that was originally there, was called Broken Arrow. Most of y'all know it as Walnut Grove. And you get to Oklahoma and Creek Territory, they have Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Just like here in Georgia, this is Creek Territory, you got Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. You got Coweta County. You got Tallapooza Lake, Tallapooza Town. And that's recognizing the original towns that, or the tribes of Muskogee-speaking tribes, that when the first Europeans came here, they just called them, oh, they're Creek. They all spoke the same language. The Indians that lived by the creek, they called them the Creek. And it became a confederacy, just like the states, the United States. You know, you got 50-something states. Well, that's a confederate of states, you know. Some states still in their laws says they could break away from the United States. That's the same thing that's happened within the Creek Confederacy. In Oklahoma, you have 3 tribal towns that actually are what's considered dual recognized. They're recognized as Kialegi, Alabama Posada, and I can't remember the other one, but they're recognized as Creek, but they're actually recognized as who they really are, being the tribal towns. And one of the tribal towns, the Kialegi, I used to be the president of a Native American-based motorcycle club here in Atlanta, and we go under the name Kialegi, or Kaliji. And what that means is taker of heads. Traditionally, it means taker of heads. And they were a Red Stick or Tugabachi Creek tribal town. Their mother town is located over there between Monroe and Watkinsville on the Appalachian River. So they're in the process, they're in Oklahoma, but they're a tribe without any land. So they're in the process of trying to migrate and move back here to Georgia. So we're sitting here in Decatur. Whose tribal town are we in? All right. Whose tribal area are we in? Is this Muskogee Creek? Yes, this is a Muskogee Creek tribal area, but this is Kialegi tribal town. This is the land of the Kialegi prior to being the Creek Confederacy. So a lot of people say, well, this is Muskogee Creek land. Yes, this is, but this is originally the Kialegi, or others, Tugabacha, Coweta. They were all Kialegi tribal towns. So a little history on that. If Cherokee come in and say, well, this is Cherokee territory, this has never been Cherokee territory. A little bit north of here, they have a border line. If you go up above Commerce, you'll see the border. It has a historical marker out there that says this is the border between the Cherokee and the Creek Nations, and all, and that's where your Cherokee territory started. If you get over above Atlanta, you get up to Etowah Mounds. A lot of people think that's Cherokee territory because it was a part of the Cherokee Nation or the Cherokee District at a certain time, but the original mounds itself were Creek or Muskogee, Kialegi Creeks. mounds. So, you know, when you break it down and you start seeing this, but to show you where the Cherokee, like I said, the Cherokee came into Oconee County, South Carolina, and they kind of butted up next to the creeks, and their culture changed. They changed from being Iroquois culture in a lot of ways, and they started adopting a lot of the Muskogee culture. And how do you see it within the Cherokee society? You see it that they do stomp dance. They stomp dance in the square grounds. Within the Iroquois Confederacy or Iroquois culture, we didn't have a square grounds like that. We didn't do the stomp dance. So that was something they adopted from the Creeks. We play stickball. Everybody know we're in Georgia. We got one of the best lacrosse teams in the country, or I guess you'd say the world, you know, because we have what's called the Georgia Swarm. It's a professional lacrosse team, plays over here in Gwinnett. And it has 8 Native American players that play on the team. And they won a national championship. First time Georgia had a national championship for years before, you know, Bulldogs and Braves started winning again. So the Iroquois ways, they played with 1 stick. Well, the Cherokee played with 2 little sticks in their hands. Well, who does that? Well, the Creeks do that. So they adopted that from the Creeks. They post historical markers showing about the mounds, but they weren't mound builders. Who were the mound builders? The Catawbas, the Siouan tribes, the Muskogee people. And all that they tell by history and the facts say, well, who do the Muskogee come from? Well, the Muskogee come from where? They come from South America, Central America. They come from Mexico and all. And they built temples in where? In Mexico. But they built them out of rock. So within their migration and their history, and they migrated from Mexico area, migrating all the way over here to what's considered the southeast, they still built mounds. So they look the same way as the mounds did in Central and South America as they do here, but it was made with dirt. And a lot of the cultural similarities. A Muskogee Creek War Club is a stick, like a paddle, a big paddle. And if you go into the Aztec culture, the Mexican culture, their war clubs is a big flat stick like a paddle. Only difference is they have little blades of what's called obsidian or glass blades. So the similarity, if you look into history, you look up here in North Georgia mountains up there by Brasstown Balls or by Blood Mountain. A lot of us don't know that there's actually a Mayan temple mound, Mayan temple up there in North Georgia mountains. But the state of Georgia doesn't allow anybody to go to it and to keep it on a secret down low. But if you Google it, Mayan temple in the North Georgia mountains, you'll find it. We also had Taino people, Taino or Arawak people from Puerto Rico that migrated up from the islands into Florida, and then Florida up here, because if you go over to Sweetwater State Park, they have a petroglyph that's a Taino petroglyph that proving that some of the Taino Arawak people from Puerto Rico, Cuba, and all migrated into Florida, migrated from Florida all the way up here in the East Atlanta or West Atlanta. So, you know, it's a lot of culture here. You know, today a lot where you get out in Native American society in the Georgia area, you come to powwows. And the powwow is a Western culture, you see, but it gives us an identity to where we could share self-expression or self-identity. Meaning that we were trying to request help through the Black Caucus a few years ago during elections. And my friend Yanasta Longwolf, she's Black in Lakota Sioux. She's an activist in the United States. She's a direct reflection of her father and mother. Her father was a Black activist. I can't remember if it was the Black Panthers or whatever back in the 70s. And her mom was a Native American activist with the Native American group called AIM, American Indian Movement. And they had what was called the longest walk. Some of the older people here in this country know about what the longest walk is. They still do it today, but back then in the 70s, during racial movement times, it was huge. You know, Muhammad Ali walked in it. What's the old basketball player who did the Kung Fu with Chuck Norris? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar walked in it. And her mom and dad met there in the longest walk, and that's how she came. And they told her, they says, well, we said, can we get some help for us Native people here in Georgia? And they said, well, where you at? Where's your votes? And we told them, we said, we come all colors, shades, and sizes. Some of us look white, some of us look black, some of us look white, black Indian, some of us look full-blooded Indian and call us Hispanic or Mexican or what, but we're here. They just came out with a map not too long ago. I posted it showing where the Native American population is in Georgia, where the predominant numbers are. But Gwinnett County, next county over, was the largest Native American population within the metro Atlanta area or the Georgia area for a long time, and mainly based off people moving into it from other Native communities throughout the country. And meaning moving in goes back a little bit farther. After the Cherokees and Creek, a lot of them got moved out. A lot of the tribes in eastern North Carolina, Virginia, stuff like that, South Carolina, they kind of did a J-hook, and they started migrating. And they started migrating into old settlements, old Creek settlements, old Cherokee settlements, like Douglasville and all, and started intermarrying with what leftover remnants of Native Americans were here. Newnan County, or not Newnan County, Newnan, Georgia, back in the 70s or so. They hung 3 Chavis guys who were in them from North Carolina, and all. They hung them on the front doorsteps of the courthouse there, and didn't even recognize them as Native American, but they were Native Americans, who were here, So, but it's a lot of things when you dig deep, and they know I could talk about the stuff all day, but I don't know. She ain't cut me off yet, so I guess I'm good on it. But you'll see us out here. We have many powwows. We used to have a whole lot more here in Georgia. We're trying to get it worked on. Joey Pierce used to put on a veterans powwow, and I'm trying to get support there. We're hoping to put on another Native American veterans powwow. We're gonna try to work with American Legion and over there in Monroe and some other places Joey's working on. Try to get the powwows back around. They used to have one down at McDonough. It was a Black Creek guy. His name was Whirlwind. He's an older fella. He's a real good historian, cultural. Talked and taught a lot about the Muskogee people, and he represented the Muskogee people real good. And he lives down in Brunswick area if he's still around. Last I heard he was still alive, but he's probably up in his 80s now, 70s or something like that. But we hope to see y'all come out to him, and we get the culture, and we hope to see y'all there.
Thank you, Joey. I appreciate that. Give Joey a hand, please. All right. So it's very interesting to know that Georgia has such a rich history and so many different tribes here. And I would love for you guys, of course, to come back next year to give us more information. Hopefully we'll have a lot more time. With that being said, I would love to invite Miss Angela Sanford and Mr. Joey Pierce to do an actual tribal dance. And shortly after, I would also like Joey, if he could, sing a song with drum.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I like to say that we dance in a circle. Everything in life goes in a circle. Everything Native people do, we do in a circle. It seems like it might be boring, but let me tell you, dancing in a circle is no easy feat, especially at a powwow. You have to dance round and round and round.
purpose of our dance in the circle is for prayer and celebration. The people that can't be there, the ones we've lost, the ones that are sick, the ones maybe overseas or whatever, and our purpose is to at least make a complete circle to close our prayers to those people each time we dance. And then when we're through dancing, we go out, the prayers will go to Creator. The Cherokees, a lot of the time, will reverse their direction. They always go clockwise. But when we've gotten a complete circle, a lot of times the Cherokee people and some of the others will go counterclockwise. That way it unwinds the prayers, releases it to Creator. Our birds of prey or our messengers, the falcon, the hawk, will take them up only so far because they can only fly so far. The eagle takes it to Creator because he goes out of sight. So our circles are sacred. It's like a church to us. We have prayer, we have respect and honor to go in and dance for these people that can't.
Okay, thank you. Can you guys give us a little bit of information about what it is that you guys actually did and how what that meant? Because I do know that tribal dances actually have a meaning.
Well, we're traditional dancers, both of us, and we're classified as traditional dancers. There's a lot of different categories on the powwow dances. Each men and women have 4 to 5 different categories that they will dance to. Traditional is for men is the warriors. For the ladies, they're our life givers, our caregivers, the respect and honor. Angie's got a variation of a tear dress, which was all they had to when they were in the Trail of Tears. They were all the weapons were taken away. So anything they used, they had to tear and stitch together with what they had to stitch together. That's where the tear dress comes from, and the tears that were shed while they were doing that. I'm more in a formal, I'll say in a formal Cherokee type of attire. This would be more of a dress attire that you do. But like I said, we dance in celebration and prayers for others, not ourselves.
I am a traditional Southern cloth dancer and buckskin dancer. I am a golden age dancer. That's for women over 65. Yeah, sometimes 55. I'll be 70 in 2 weeks. Yay. But
Look good, girl.
it's an honor and a privilege to be able to dance for the people, to dance for those who cannot speak for themselves or who can dance for themselves. When we dance, we're speaking a language. Sometimes people don't realize it, but dance is it's a non-spoken. You don't speak it verbally, you move in motion. And sometimes it can be emotional, just like going to church, you know. You might think about someone who has passed on or crossed over, and you'll get emotional when you get in that circle and dance. The circle is spiritual. And it, like Joy said earlier, it is a part of our church. When I wear my outfits, most of my outfits are made by hand. I make them myself by hand. I don't use the sewing machine. The outfit I have on today, I made by hand. That's the way I was brought up. We didn't have a sewing machine. So I learned to make things by hand. You would never know this outfit was made by hand unless I told you. But it's all by hand. When we make our clothes, you appreciate what you wear better than going out buying it already made. Or someone may give it to you as a gift for you to be able to dance and wear to represent who you are. So I represent who I am. And I love who I am. And I wouldn't take nothing from me.
Thank you. So while they're preparing, I asked Joey and Miss Angela and Joseph if they would like to do another song. And
When we're at powwows, we invite others to come dance with us. I mean, if you want to come down on the lower end down here and dance, we'll come down there and dance with you.
Okay.
But it's called intertribal. We invite the public to come in with us to experience what we feel. And at a powwow, it's a whole lot different than doing demonstrations like we're doing right now. But the energy and the strength, and you don't take burdens in with you. If there's sometimes I don't dance because I may have something bothering me. You don't want that burden to join with someone else when you're in that circle, because that circle is so sacred. You know, we're not religious people, we're spiritual people, so we always do this to do in honor of Creator, in honor of our family, our friends, even the people we don't know, we have prayers for. So that was what we try and do. If anybody would like to come up and dance, we'll come down on the floor and dance with you.
I would like to
please,
add
if I have
something
any
to that.
volunteers, please come straight to the front.
I would like
And
to
while we're-
add something to that saying
go ahead.
about spirituality. You know, it doesn't matter what ethnic group you are in this world. Every nationality or culture at one time used what I have in my hand, a hand drum, and that hand drum represents the circle of life, and it also represents the heartbeat of Mother Earth, and it's that connection. And it comes in a circle, like the saying, hey, what goes around comes around. Everything's in a circle and a way of life and all. And it doesn't matter what culture, what ethnicity you are. When you take it back historically, European, African, Asian, it doesn't matter. There's a drum. There's a drum in your culture, in your society, and it represents that. So that's a part of your spirituality. So sometimes you listen to that drum and you pray with that drum too. You know.
If you are religious, you read the Bible. It says dance unto the Lord in celebration. Well, that's what we've been doing for thousands and thousands of years. So that's, the pulled and added to a religious format. We're spiritual. We believe everything that's around us, everything Creator has given us, we're thankful for it every day.
And also to add to what Joy just said, we are all related, meaning that the two-legged, human beings, the four-legged, the animals that walk around on four legs, the ones that crawl on their bellies, the birds that fly in the sky, the tall ones on the trees. We're all related. Everything in life goes in a circle.
Thank you. That was amazing.
When we dance as women,
Mike.
when we dance as women, we dance like the heartbeat is boom, 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 okay? So we dance on the beat of the drum, and the drum is the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Miss Angela. Thank you, Joy, Mr. Pierce. Thank you, Joseph. We do have a couple of other guests that have arrived, and they are taking their seats. I would like to, while they're taking their time, I would like to open up for any Q&A. If anybody has any questions for Miss Angela, Mr. Joey, or Mr. Joseph.
Don't be shy if you've got any questions.
Would you adjust those to make sure? All right, Mike, make sure.
Earrings are just mother of pearl because they were able to trade a lot with people as the time came. When the European people came in. The last capital of the Cherokee Nation is here in Georgia. It was based out of Georgia. It's New Echota. You go up 75 to 317 exit. New Echota is still there. And the only nation out of 572 or 74 nations here in the Northern Hemisphere that has a written language is the Cherokee people. George Guess, who was half French, half Cherokee. You might know his name better by Sequoia. He developed an alphabet, started in 1810, and by 1821 he taught his family. They started a printing press called the New Phoenix. That press is still up at New Echota there. And so they learned to read and write a language. No other community has that until the English came in and taught them, or the French. But that's the only one that has a native derived alphabet.
I want to speak just a couple of seconds on our outfits. It's not called a costume. A costume is make-believe. We say regalia or outfit, or your clothes look very nice. And also put a Native American etiquette. It's something that I get a lot, and it really rubs my nerves the wrong way, is when people come up and ask me, well, what percentage Native American are you? That is so rude. That is not good etiquette. You know, I don't ask people what percentage Caucasian they are or what percentage African American they are. I don't know what make people think that they can ask Native people what percentage Native American they are. You don't come and take pictures of Native people without getting their permission, because some Native people still believe that if you take their picture with a camera, you're stealing their soul. So you don't do that. And before you attend a Native American event, you need to just take and study what the etiquette is for that particular ceremony, what the etiquette is for powwows, what the etiquette is for anything Native American. Anytime you go into unfamiliar territory, you're going to have to do as the Romans do. So what you do is teach yourself, not just in the Native American culture, but anything that you do. Always have that information before you go, so you're going to have to ask crazy questions, because they're crazy questions to me. And sometimes I don't like to answer them. Anybody has a question?
So I'm right before, because I have a couple more minutes. I am going to try to introduce my last guest that came.
Fine,
but
yes.
shortly after I give them the opportunity to speak,
Sure.
we'll have Q&A one more time.
Okay, all right.
And just an FYI, we do have refreshments. We have a Native American dish shortly after this, and something else sweet. So right now, I want to introduce Chief Ernest Calvin Marshall. He's an Air Force veteran, and he is also, please forgive me if I mispronounce this, Chief of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Muskogee Creek Nation for 3 generations. I also have Captain Alice Henderson. She is also with the Muskogee Creek Nation, and she was the first woman to officially serve in the U.S. Army as a chaplain with the Corps.
And the last person is Mr. Alicia Robertson. She represents us in the state of South Carolina with 27 tribes. She was appointed by the governor. She's been on the committee for 14 years.
Thank you. So right now, they do hear you guys, so I want you guys to take a couple minutes. I only have about 5. So if you guys can each kind of take a couple minutes and just talk about something that is on your heart with regards to Native American.
Yes, it's an honor to be here with my brothers and my sister. My name is Chief Ernest Marshall. I'm the chief of the Muskogee Creek Nation. I made the U.S. government through my passport with my headpiece. We forced them to do that on a treaty, the Dancing Rabbit Treaty. Our thing is dealing with the treaties that the U.S. government did never honor. They gave us words, but they never protected them, and they never made sure the thing was okay. I was also a member of the National Archives and Records Administration in College Park, Maryland. Went to do the research on the bonds that was given to us that was never cashed, the bonds that was the 1862 to 1864 Union Pacific Railroad bonds and other bonds that were never turned into liquidation. I found the bonds in the National Archives and Records Administration, went to the banks. The banks refused to even want to cash the bonds. We can make a bomb and go to Iraq and go other places, but we can't honor and repay what is owed to our tribes after the 1862 Railroad, 1864 Railroad Act that Abraham Lincoln signed. And it was signed when the Erlinger bonds were used to deal with slavery, to deal with buying merchandise to fight the Civil War in the South, to bring in cotton, and to take the land from us. Another thing is, I became chief of 17 tribes when I had to deal with making sure that we was being respected, because of respect that the tricksters, I can't call them politics, because I've been in politics since I was 12, and I'm 73 years old, and I don't see how people honoring and respecting indigenous people and honoring and respecting what was done with taking of the land, the water, and giving out the blankets. Britain, France, Portugal, the U.S., and other countries came together against the indigenous people in this country. So when you talk about the U.S., you can only talk about Britain, Portugal, France, Spain, and all of them. And that's when you have the treaties that deal with Indian Springs. Indian Springs is my sister here, that we are trying to make the U.S. government stop taking 32 houses. But we are working with them now, and we are making sure that things are done. But I will step back because our time is limited, and there's two other people, but Miss Henderson, Sister Henderson.
Thank you so much. You can go ahead, Ms. Henderson.
If you can you hear me? Good, thank you. First of all, there are two different things you wanted me to speak about,
Yeah, but
Indian Springs
talk
and
about it, yes, right.
chaplaincy. Is that right? First of all, let me get the chaplaincy out of the way, because I'm going to be kind of in a way I want to get that dealt with first. I am the first female chaplain in the history of the United States Army Chaplains Corps. 8 July 1974, I was commissioned at Fort McPherson, and therefore I served 10 years active duty and 3 years reserve in the military chaplaincy. There, in 1974, there were only 6 women chaplains in all branches of services. The Army had one, me, for a whole year before Betty Pace came on active duty. The Air Force had the first 2 women chaplains. Then the Navy got Diana Pullman and Vivian McFadden, who graduated with me from ITC in Atlanta. I graduated from Turner AME in Atlanta also. Those 6 women in all branches of services, we all got a chance to meet and know each other, in the sense to say we would correspond through letters. Also, in the Army, being that I was the first, black or white, you can go to the Chaplain Museum, where I just removed all of my uniforms and everything in April of 2022, only to be evicted off of the property in Indian Springs, Georgia, where I no longer am living. I'm up to my son's house in Ellenwood. I don't have a permanent address. So many things have happened to me since they evicted me, did an illegal eviction of me being put off of the land that's on my deeds in Indian Springs, Georgia, along with me and my 10 brothers and sisters' name on the original deeds. I am the granddaughter of Chief Wade Hampton Barlow, medicine man, who was over the Indian Springs State Park. In August of 2018, the state of Georgia allowed us to put my grandfather's picture back up in the Creek Museum, where someone took it out in 2000 along with my daddy brother, who is Otis Henderson Choctaw. The Barlows are Creek Indians. My 2 sons' father are Cherokee Indians. We're part of the 5 civilized tribes. And that I know that I could give you that history, but I'm not going to try to go through the history and let you know. First of all, Shirley McIntosh's granddaughter, Elisha, is my great-great-grandmother. They brought her from the Cane Plantation in Alabama and sold her in Butts County in Land Lot 1 for $700. She went to the Barlow Plantation there at Indian Springs, Richard Barlow Plantation, and she married Welch Barlow. That's how we got her in our family. All of my grandmothers are from the McIntosh side of the family. Both of my grandmothers, Alice Head, McIntosh Head, and my other grandmother, Mother Mary, we call her, they both died at the age of 103. They're Creek Indians. So therefore, we own heritage with the 5 civilized tribes where McIntosh signed the treaty at Indian Springs on the rock across from where the park is. My granddaddy was over the park. Wade Hampton Barlow, medicine man, buried at Rock Creek Church with a medicine wheel on his headstone. His brother got a medicine wheel, and my grandmother and grandfather is there, and my great-great-grandfather, who is Dave Henderson, and Rachel Pensy Henderson. All of their names are up here in Cleland in the National Archives on the creek, on the Choctaw Road, the Hendersons. The Barlows and all are on the Creek Road. So therefore, on both sides, I am Native American. I am the oldest of all Granddaddy Wade's 8 children. I'm the oldest granddaughter and the very first grandchild in his family. And in 2018, they put his picture back in there, and the chief of Oklahoma told them he's the only one can authorize to go in and out of that Creek Museum. So now they have concreted his picture, a picture, because we don't know what happened to the other one, to the wall. And if you go down there now in the Creek Museum, you will see his picture back up there. He got on a white jacket. Also, not dealing too much more, I would like to skip back and say presently, thanks to the chief and the Blackfoot tribe and those, they are now trying to help us with the salvation of the whole town of Indian Springs and those families down there that I've been fighting for. In 2009, I went back home in 1997 after I got out the military in Indian Springs. I have been there ever since, fighting for the rights of Native Americans, fighting for my right, and what happened to me in the military, the negative thing that happened, the railroading of me off the promotion list to not make history again. All of these things I have been dealing with, and now I'm dealing with the fact that I'm homeless. I'm living with my son. My clothes and property is still down there on the ground in 3 utility houses moved across the road out of the house I was in. I was evicted from my own land. And therefore, thanks be to Chief Marshall and those who are now helping to fight for those families and people that are down there that need our help as Native Americans. Graves have been desecrated. Our children don't know who they are. They've been put in a situation where our language have been taken, our culture have been taken, and everybody's after me because I'm the key person that know everything. I was there as a child when the McIntosh were down there. I was there when the Ku Klux Klan thing came through. I was there when the hotels were burning down at Indian Springs and all. And the Hendersons were in the park. Granddaddy Dave had property in the park. They've taken that now and given it to the state of the park, which is not. Therefore, I'm asking that you help us regain our culture, regain our language, reclaim our history. Let our children know that they are not African Americans. We were here 1,700 years before Columbus got here. And our children can't even learn it in school. They don't want to talk about what happened to us in slavery, many of our families who was in slavery, and what happened to us right now as Native American. We're not allowed to even teach in the school system about Native American heritage. We're not even allowed to even teach or even don't teach the language at all. There's one lady right now, Chief Bluefeather, who was put out of Butts County school system for teaching Native American language. She also was working with children who had special education. Right now, she's somewhere. They went over to Flowville, Georgia, and the house she had been in for 11 years, teaching classes and doing things. The judge has the National Guard go over there with machine guns around the house, made her and the family come out, and also, right now, I don't know where she is, but they took her family and everybody, and she's still out there. So therefore, we got a lot to do, and we have a lot to fight for, and I am physically drained from fighting for my soldiers in the military, and I'm drained from fighting with the government right now. I don't even have a decent address. Banks and people, my creditors and all, can't find me. They are making sure that I don't have anything. Therefore, all I'm asking is for prayer and asking that God let the truth be brought out, and our people who went on that trail of tears to Oklahoma, because we didn't go. We're the ones that were left behind. In 1972, we can now claim our heritage. Before then, anybody claimed their heritage after that trail of tears and didn't go to Oklahoma. You were to be killed or hung, and the bounty hunter could still come and get you up until 1972. They changed that now.
Wow. Thank you, Ms. Henderson, for that history. It's deep. And we definitely would like to go a little deeper, but sort of after the event. I do want to give Ms. Alethea some time to speak, and we'll wrap up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can y'all hear me? Okay, I had to get closer. Oh, thank you. A little bit about me. I'm from South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. And for about 14 years, I served on the board of Native Americans. I was instrumental because I worked along with Chief Marshall because I'm a part of the Muskogee Creek Nation. In saying so, I was instrumental in making sure that the Native American history got in the textbooks because it wasn't in the textbooks. I met with 25 chiefs, different tribes, the Yamasee, the Cherokee, the Catawba, which is North Carolina and South Carolina. There were a few creeks there. So we were instrumental of making sure things got in the textbook because things weren't being taught about our heritage. A background about me, I'm Black Hawk and Cherokee Indian. My late father worked along with Chief Marshall before I was born. So I reconnected to the tribe in about 2010. My mother is Black Hawk and my father's side is Cherokee, which is also a part of the Creek band. The Creek come first and then the Cherokee. A lot of people don't know that, some do. I also attended various powwows across the state of South Carolina with myself, my mom, and my dog. I have a blue roan English Springer Spaniel. So he would go because he liked the beat of the drums. He actually likes reggae music. So what transpired in terms of helping our tribe grow, Chief Marshall put me in the water business. And the reason why I have the Callaway Blue Water, which is out of Georgia, this water is instrumental because 2 hours before that, you have Meriwether and White Sulphur Springs. That's where Joe Biden went to before he won the presidency. So I actually sold 3 out of the 6 waters out the springs that was good for your healing. The history behind that was Ponce de Leon went to the springs to get himself cleared up from all diseases. But the Indians sent him that way to Florida, so the springs in Florida actually smell like sulfur, but the ones in Georgia do not. The water had like a pH balance of 7.8. It was tested by the University of Georgia. I sold 8 gallons. I sold my gallons for $8 a piece. I sold the 5 gallons for $25 a piece. You had to pre-order with me. I showed and I shipped all over the country. I've had 2 documentaries made on me. I've made 3 newspapers. I'm kind of an unsung hero, I guess you would say. You can follow me, WaterLady77 on Instagram. And I was instrumental of healing a lot of people with water. Sometimes I gave it away because I knew what it did for your body. It alkalined your body and kept you from having any type of sinus issues or whatnot. After the water, I went into the fragrance business. And so these are some of my products. And when I actually go meet with other natives, we always gift each other something. So normally I give an oil, or sometimes, which is out of actually Africa, Ghana, I do the shea butter because I like the shea butter. So I always present that when I go to different tribal settings. Chief Marshall and I were instrumental in meeting with the different chiefs in South Carolina because a lot of them have bonds and they didn't know how to actually monetize the bond. So they actually gave him the right to assist him. It wasn't just him. We also met with the director. We met with the governor's office. We've met with a lot of key people. Also, I'm a researcher. So I have a research card from College Park, Maryland. I have one from Mississippi Archives, and I have one from Clayton County, Georgia. And I'm really proud of that because I was able to trace my ancestries back. So my great-great-grandmother, who is of Black Hawk, she has 800 acres of land in Georgia. In order to keep her land, she had to marry a white Irishman. So my family is in a fight to retain the land back. So it's always an ongoing struggle to make sure you hold on to your heritage. And being a part of a tribe helps you navigate life easier because people are willing to help you a little bit more once you are a part of something that's making things better for the next generation. I didn't start off initially because it took me a while to embrace my Native heritage because a lot of times natives didn't tell you that they were Native because people would come for you. I don't know what else was discussed. I don't want to like backtrack on everything, and I know time's sensitive.
Couple more minutes.
That's all I have for you all.
All right. This will.
like to say one
Oh,
last
I'm sorry.
thing.
Go ahead, Chief.
This is the boat. This boat was made by one of my tribal members. This is the boat. It was made by one of my tribal members. This is the boat for Chief Black Kettle. Chief Black Kettle was the chief who was called to the sit down and talk to the army for peace. Chief Black Kettle was killed with him and his wife and his kids. And then you had a general named Custer who left, and all of the tribes turned on him after he killed Chief Black Kettle. So you got to understand that we are all brothers and sisters. If you look around this room and see the tribal members, we're all brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. And you got to believe in the Creator to understand that as long as the Creator with you, you have no problems. Thank you.
And I would like to end with that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Joseph Jordan with the Snipe Clan. Thank you, Chief Ernest Marshall with the, say it for me, Muskogee. Thank you.
Muskogee Creek Nation.
For the Muskogee Creek Nation. Thank you again, Chaplain Captain Alice Henderson. Thank you, Alethea Robinson. And also thank you, Miss Angela Sanford and Mr. Joey Pierce for participating in our National Native American Indian Heritage Month program. I would like to end with a prayer from our co-chair, Mr. Lee. And shortly after that, We do have a Native American dish. It is, I believe, hummus and cupcakes. Thank you guys. Come on, Mr. Lee. And I'll see you guys next year.
Let us pray. O great and mighty one, we pray that you would fill us with your Spirit and help us to remember that we have been blessed in this country. Though there's injustice and there's wars and rumors of wars, there's a lot of stuff going on, but we just ask that the power of your presence would be with us today so that we could be blessed and be a blessing to one another here, a blessing to the world, and a blessing unto you. It's in your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And I do have certificates of participation. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.